I was going to put that on my entourage for my coordination.
Aiden, you can let it rip as soon as it hits 6.
Rip. We're going to have to change the video. It's old anyway. Actually put lipstick on.
ידיד נפש, אב הרחמן, משוך עבדך, ברצונך ירוץ עבדך, כמו היה ישתחווה אל מול הדרך, יערב לו ידידותך מנופת צוף וכל טעם יגלנה ופרוס חביב עלי את סוכת שלומך תאיר ארץ מכבודך נגילה ונשמחה בך מהר אהוב כי במועד וכונני כי מעולם.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone joining us on Zoom, on Facebook, on YouTube. We are glad that you have joined us to celebrate Shabbat at this dark time of year. We hope you will join us by singing along, by praying along, by leaving the week that was behind and being here in the moment. We start by bringing light to our souls, to our homes, to our lives, by the candle blessing for Shabbat on page 120. We'll ask Gabrielle to kindle the Shabbat lights.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kirshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom. Our service continues with the Hu Niranana.
Lechu neranana l'Adonai nariya letzur yishenu nekadma fanav betoda bizmirot nariya lo nekadma fanav betoda bizmirot nariya lo shiru l'Adonai shir chadash shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz shiru l'Adonai baruchu shemo basro miyom leyom yeshuato sabro v'goyim kevodo bechol amim niflotav.
Sing praise to Adonai with a lyre and melodious song. Zamru l'Adonai, if you're following along in your prayer book, page 134.
Zamru l'Adonai bechinor v'kol zimra b'chatzotzrot v'kol shofar hariu lifnei hamelech Adonai yiram hayam omno tevel veyoshveiva hayda neharot imcha chav chav yachad harim yeraneinu lifnei Adonai kiva lishbot haaretz yishbot tevel betzedek ve'amim be'meisharim yiram hayam omno tevel ve'yoshveiva hayda neharot imcha chav hav yachad harim yeraneinu hav yachad harim yeraneinu.
We add one more psalm, Psalm 29, on page 136 of our Sidurim.
Mizmor leDavid, havu l'Adonai b'nei Elim, havu l'Adonai kavod v'hoz, havu l'Adonai kavod shemo, ishtachavu l'Adonai behadrat kodesh, kol Adonai al hamayim el hakavod hirim רוצים לעבוד אש. כל אדוני יכיל מדבר, יכיל אדוני מדבר קדש. כל אדוני יכולל איילות ויחשוף יערות, ובחלות כולו אומר כבוד, אומר כבוד, אומר כבוד, כולו אומר כבוד. אדוני למבול ישב, וישב אדוני מלך לעולם. אדוני עוז למו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו ושלום.
We now go to the 1600s to Safat in Israel, where Shlomo Alkabetz composed a beautiful acrostic, Lecha Dodi, welcoming Shabbat as if she were a bride. And as such, when we get to the last verse of Lecha Dodi, we usually rise and face the door as if to welcome the bride, as we do at a wedding. So Lecha Dodi, starting on page 138 in our Sidurim, Gabrielle will lead us.
Lecha Dodi לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקבלה. Lecha Dodi לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקבלה. שמר וזכר בדיבור אחד, ישמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, ושם לתפארת ולתהילה. Lecha Dodi לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקבלה. Lecha Dodi לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה. מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. Lecha Dodi לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקבלה. Lecha Dodi לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי ברך קומי אורי. אורי, אורי, שתדברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. Lecha Dodi לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקבלה. Lecha Dodi לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לא תבשי ולא תגלמי, מה תשתוכחי ומה תהמי. בך יחסו עניי עמים, ונבנתה עיר על תהילה. Lecha Dodi לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקבלה. Lecha Dodi לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצוהלה. תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. Lecha חדרתי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקבלה. חדרתי לקראת קהלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
We turn to one more psalm, Mizmor Shir, on page 140. This is going to be a Brazilian arrangement of that song.
Brazil is actually the last name of the composer.
I see.
Yes,
Thank
I
you.
made that mistake as well, which is why I know.
Aha.
So don't feel bad. Okay.
That's why you're the hunter to be.
A Mizmor Shir, Mizmor Shir Le'yom HaShabbat, Tov lehodot Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות, עלי עזוב עלי נבל, עלי היגיון וכינור, צדיק כתמר יפרח, כארז בלבנון יזכה, שתולים בבית אדוני, בחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו, עוד ינובון בשיבה, דשאים ורעננים יהיו, להגיד כי ישר אדוני, צורי ולהלת בו.
We separate Kabbalat Shabbat, the receiving of Shabbat, with our evening service, doing the Chatzi Kaddish, page 144.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה,
Amen.
בעלמדי ורח חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דרכון בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך, יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתחלל, שמי קודשה בריחו, לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, תמירן בהלמה, ואמרו אמן.
We invite you to rise in body and spirit as we do the call for worship, Baruch Hu, on page 146.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך, ברוך אדוני המבורך, לעולם ועד.
You may be seated. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzebaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim.
Amen.
We take a moment to think about how we are loved and about those we love in return. God offered us love as his first gift to us and renews that gift day after day, if but we take the moment to acknowledge it. We see the stars in their courses. We look to the moon. We watch as it transforms the sky. We see tonight our neighbors celebrating, and we are not alone because we too celebrate God's love for us. I invite you to close your eyes and in your mind's eye, see those stars as they travel the sky, as they blink at us, perhaps representing the love of a loved one we think of, someone who may have filled a chair, someone whose heart touched ours, knowing that wherever we go, God is with us as we are with ourselves. We draw from the beginnings of our service to now, recognizing that through the physical and through the spiritual, God is one. We take the breath that was given to us at birth and before, that we take with us until our last days, that renews our souls daily as we utter the words of the Shema, acknowledging God's oneness, uniqueness, and aloneness. Shema.
Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. We continue on page 154 with the chanting of Ve'ahavta. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha v'chol nafshecha v'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadavarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha v'kumecha uv'shartam neot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uv'yisharecha למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. Ani Adonai Elohechem Emet.
Adonai Elohechem Emet. Emet v'yatziv v'kol tzot v'kayam aleinu ki hu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ein zulato v'anachnu Yisrael amo. We continue silently to the bottom of page 156. When your children witnessed your dominance, they praised your name in gratitude and they accepted your sovereignty. Moses, Miriam, and all Israel sang to you together, lifting their voices joyously. Mi chamocha, page 158.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh nora tehilot hoseh felem malechutecha ra'ovanecha bokeh ayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam Ze'eli anu ve'ameru Adonai yimnoch le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Goel Yisrael.
Praised are you, Adonai, for redeeming Israel. The Hashkivenu prayer is our nighttime prayer, a prayer that allows us to feel the wilderness. Imagine the children of Israel having crossed the sea and now are on the other side, facing the dark desert. The sounds, the sights, the voices, and there they are, not knowing what lies ahead. Earlier this week, we had a power outage in my neighborhood, and there was no light. And there I was, facing the only power I had, that which was me. And it transformed me to that desert. Sometimes we need to remove ourselves from the technology, from the other sources of power, and draw inward and recognize that God is with us. So grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and raise us up to life renewed. Hashkivenu, page 160.
Ushmor tzedenu uvoleinu l'chaim u'l'shalom me'ata ve'ad olam ufros aleinu Shalom שמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. בני ובן בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, את הארץ. וביום השביעי, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש.
We approach the tefillah, the Amidah, and I invite you to rise in body or spirit to join us for the central prayer of our worship service.
Adonai sfatai tiftach, ufi yagid, ufi yagid, tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may, that my mouth may declare your praise.
Oseh shalom b'mamav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru amen.
Amen.
May the one who makes peace in the high heavens make peace for us, for all Israel, for all who inhabit the earth, and let us say amen. We add the words of the Mishaberach to our evening prayers, a prayer for healing, those in need of healing for body and for soul. If there is somebody whose name you would like us to bring into our community, please feel free to write it in the comments, write it in the chat, and we will remember them. We join Gabrielle with the words of the Mishaberach on page 371.
Mishaberach avot
wish all of them a refuah shlema, a speedy and complete recovery. We say amen.
Amen.
Shabbat Shalom again. Last Shabbat, we ended the first book of the Torah, known as Bereshit, or Genesis. Leading us through the first families of human history, we now find ourselves 375 years after the end of the Genesis text. The book of Exodus, or Shmot in Hebrew, begins with the listing of names, a recounting of who's who as a new era opens. As we walk the streets of life, we regularly encounter the who's who in our own world. Names play an important role in general life and in Jewish life in particular. Parents give their children names at birth, a part of the family planning that is full of awe and responsibility, based on qualities that they would want their offspring to inherit and perhaps impart to the world. Parents labor over the names in the dictionaries as much as they labor to physically birth the child. Some of us may have Jewish names in addition to our English ones, and some of us may have names that we have chosen or taken on later in life for ourselves. The Talmud teaches that each of us is known by many names, those we have been given and those we have chosen. In Eastern European Jewish practice, children are often named for deceased relatives as a way of honoring, while in Sephardic or Middle Eastern Jewish communities, children are often named for living relatives. This week, we are introduced to a book known in Hebrew as Shmot, or names. In English, we know it as Exodus. We learn of the following individuals whose names have their own meanings in Hebrew. For example, Miriam, fragrant water; Aharon, exalted; Moshe, drawn from the water; Yocheved, God's glory; Tzipporah, a bird; Gershom, stranger there; Eliezer, God is my help; and Yitro, his excellency. Each name conveys a message and some aspect of the personality of the character. Most important to this theme of names is the calling of Moses and the name encounter with the divine. Moshe's life appears to us in the text of the Torah as a myth of a hero he will grow to become. He encounters the Divine One face to face in the most unusual scene, the bush that was consumed in fire, but not burning. A voice instructs Moshe, "I am the one who was known to your ancestors as El Shaddai. I am Yud He Vav He in Hebrew letters. I am what I am. Breath is my essence." This name is not a noun, nor is it an adjective. It is actually a verb, a form of the verb to be. We are informed of the Divine One's essence as beingness. The name Yud He Vav He, which is impossible to pronounce, is a form of a verb that means something like that which will be. There are over 100 names for God in the Tanakh, in the Bible, and Kabbalah, or Jewish mysticism, teaches us that each word of Torah may be a form of the divine name. We humans create names for ourselves with our actions every single day, through our work and through our interactions. Tonight, as we look out our windows, we may see celebrations of our neighbors that call attention to our otherness, being outside of the celebration. But wait, we have our own celebration right here, right now. We have Shabbat, which elevates this day above all others. With the names of our ancestors as a foundation, facing Yud-He Vav-He, God, as a flame that is not consumed, how can these Shabbat candles lead us from the darkness we see in the world to the light of a new world? It is we who are called upon by God to kindle these lights, much as we did at the beginning of our service, and to take the flame with us as we go forth from our sanctuaries out into the world. As the book of Shemot will lead us to the depths of slavery and then to the heights of receiving Torah in freedom, may we use our names to bring light to the world. May each of us create a name of blessing as we walk in this world. And may our thoughts become our dreams, leading us to a life of action with God's presence forever present. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may it be God's will. Our service continues with Aleinu, page 586 in our Sidurim.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
We now turn our thoughts to those whose days on earth have ended, but those whose memory we carry with us in our hearts. We bring their names to mind, and I invite you, if you are in the Shiva period, to rise. If you are in the Shloshim period, if you are in the first year of mourning, if you're observing a yahrzeit, if it is,
I'm in the first year of mourning for Joe Anguiano.
if it is your custom to rise for the Kaddish, to support those in mourning, I invite you to do so. And join our mourners on page 598 with the Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
Amen.
בעלמא דברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי. בחייכון וביומייכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל. בעגלה ובזמן קריב אמרו.
Amen.
יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא. ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל. שמי דקודשה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה. תושבחתה ונחמתה. תאמירן בעלמה ואמרו.
Amen.
יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה. וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו.
Amen.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו.
Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say, Amen.
Amen.
You may be seated. Tomorrow morning, Torah study at 9 o'clock, right here at TBT. We hope you will join us. Services at 10 o'clock, led by Rabbi Daniel, Gabrielle, and Yuval. Yes, and thank you, Yuval, for joining us on the piano tonight.
Thank you,
And Aiden in the sound room.
Thank you, Aiden.
Yay, Aiden. And next Friday night, we invite you to join us just like tonight. Bring your own champagne glass and a bottle of bubbly, whatever that might be, and join Gabrielle and me for a kiddush of New Year's Eve. And we will have our own New Year's Eve celebration, ringing in the new secular year. Lots of things happening at TBT. Please see your tidbits and the website for all kinds of information. The temple office will be closed next Thursday and Friday. No, next Friday only. But we are open during the week. And so now we join in, am I right? We join for Kiddush?
Yeah.
I will go get the Kiddush cup.
It's right there.
I know.
And I will vayachulu.
You will do Vayachulu.
Vayerev vayehi boker yom hashishi. Vayachu hashemayim v'haaretz v'chol tzava'am. Vayachal Elohim bayom hashvi'i melachto asher asa. Vayishbot bayom hashvi'i mikol melachto asher asa. Vayevarech Elohim et yom hashvi'i vayikadesh oto. Ki vo shevat mikol melachto asher bara Elohim lasot.
Sabri chavirot v'chavirai.
L'chaim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh bereshit כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
לחיים.
לחיים. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Have a good Shabbat. We close with Magadlu.
Magadlu מעשה חיה מאוד עמקו מחשבותיך מה גדלו מעשה חיה מכל עמקו מחשבותיך. Shabbat Shalom,
Shabbat
everybody.
Shalom. How good are
Looking
God's
forward
words.
to seeing you tomorrow.